Good morning. Denise Dryden here. I'm up on the porch looking out over the Salish Sea here on Bainbridge Island. Today I wanted to talk to you about the concept of fierce gentleness, which is a term that came up last year at the global gathering for the Transformational Presence Leadership and Coaching Group. So there was 35 of us from several different countries, and you can go back in my videos, and I talked a lot about it last summer too. But what's coming up for me now is this concept of fierce gentleness is sort of tapping me on the shoulder, and it's coming back in parenting, it's coming back in leadership. I also wanted to piggyback this with the fact that not last night, but the night before, 2 nights ago, was this huge full moon, and it's an Aquarian full moon, so it had a lot of energy, and it was paired with a lunar eclipse that could only be seen down in the southern hemisphere. So it wasn't something that we could see, but it was something we could feel. And I don't know how many of you can feel full moons, but this one was a doozy. And it started sort of stirring things up a couple days before, and it's still stirring things up. Emotions, irritations, fears. And what I want to say is that it's also stirring up this idea of leadership. If we know who we are, if we know what we're here for, if we have some ideas of what's going on, how do we step forward and lead others through this kind of chaotic time? So bringing leadership to the forefront means bringing leadership in with your community or in the larger arena that you interact with. It also means bringing leadership into work, bringing leadership into the family system. And I'm going to take a stretch and say it's bringing leadership into you, which is how do I lead myself through some of this chaos? So what am I really talking about? Well, when there are times of this really deep chaos where we're not sure if we're on track or off track, we are seeing the people we love irritated and bouncing around on the outside, we are feeling a little agitated, we are nervous, we're watching the political environment, we're trying to set boundaries on kids and in ourselves, and we're finding ourselves reactive. We're finding ourselves overwhelmed with some of the news, with some of the information, that this is when we need to become solid leaders. Rock solid leaders, so that we can navigate through this kind of chaos, right? We can start to find out what works for us and what doesn't. So let's play around with this concept of fierce gentleness. So first, pull up that word fierce. What comes up for you? Fierce. Is it positive or is it negative? Because it can be both. From context. We all have our own context of what we bring to the word fierce. So I looked it up and I did some sort of journaling on it, and what came up is intensity, aggressiveness. It can be destructive. When someone comes out fierce, they can be mean, they can be cruel, they can be untamed, it can be brutal, fierce temper, violence, fury. You know, it's sort of a manner of action that's harnessed with this passion of anger, aggressiveness. You know, it's like, wow. And when we were at the workshop, what we did is we pulled up that energy, you know. But when I look at the Urban Dictionary, you know, it tells me what I really want to know, that it's powerfully strong, it's a force, it's cool, it's a strength. It's heartfelt, it's completely aligned and focused, it's intent, it's putting passion behind intensity, right? And it's bold. And so it's boldness in action. So when we access this power of fierceness, we bring all of us into focus, and we summon up our sort of fire in our belly and our passion, and we stand there and we're like, don't mess with me. As a mom, I can tell you that there are times in my life where I've been like summoned up every ounce of energy in me and went like, yeah, that's not happening. And I watch people step back like, ooh, that fierceness is big. Also, what I want to say is when we can summon that up, when we can bring it in, The image I always use in my parent coaching is the Terminator 1, when the bad guy would keep coming after them over and over again, and you'd shoot him and he would fall into a billion pieces, and then he would just come back into form, almost stronger than he was before. So the term I use when I want to summon that intensity is back in form. Bring it in. Kind of stand up straight. Make your vertical column, your chakra lines, everything sort of wide awake, and I'm here, right? So that's fierce. So when we talk about this other one, which is gentleness, what comes up for you? Is it namby-pamby? Is it when you're gentle that you have no structure, that you have no definitive lines because you're just kind and tender and sensitive and considerate? Are you understanding, good-natured, calm? Can you pacify others? Can you nurture? There's this soothing, this soft, amiable part that comes with gentleness. It's not violent, it's moderation in action. To me, it conjures up that feminine energy of receptivity, responsiveness, being able to bend and move and flow. So we have these two very opposite energies. We have fierce on one side and we have gentleness on the other. So what I like to do is work with the polarity, the concept of polarity, which is how do you hold two really different energies at the same time? So let's play with that a little bit. What I would, and you can go back and listen to this another time, but you can stand in one spot and close your eyes and bring yourself in. I like to use the mountain pose in yoga and bring myself in, and then just conjure up all of these emotions of fierceness. Bring it in. Feel it in your body. Where does fierceness? Does your back straighten? Do your shoulders stand up straight? Does your head get a little taller? What happens when you have fierce in your body? Does it hurt because you know what anger looks like? What does fierce feel like in your body? So go and find that. And then go find another spot, and maybe just about 6 feet away, and come up with this other idea, which is gentleness. How do you hold gentleness in your body? Close your eyes. What does it feel like to be softer, to be soothing, to be this feminine, which is, you're safe with me. You're going to be okay. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm gentle. And so then we have these two, and we go back and we stand in fierce until we find out what way of embodying fierce works for us. And then we go back over to this other spot and we stand in gentleness, and we say, what's the best way for me to identify with the energy of gentleness in my body? And we go back and forth and back and forth, knowing that in polarity you can be both. You can be gentle, and then when you need to, you can come over here and you can call on that fierceness. And then when you need to, you can come over here and you can call on that gentleness. And so what happens is that if there's these two spots, where they converge in the middle is a place where I can hold fierce and gentleness at the same time, which means that I can present rock solid and firm in my convictions, and I can also be very gentle and kind with those convictions. I like to think that this is that concept of compassion. That to me is what compassion feels like. With that strong inner core, open, present, kind, when we show up. So let's bring this into something that makes a little bit more sense into practice. A few weeks ago I did a video on structure, rules, and boundaries. And the energy of fierce gentleness fits really nicely when we're talking about boundaries, right? How to lead from that place. So when I'm setting and holding a boundary with another, I speak from kindness and gentleness. And I also have this fierce inner strength, which is, no, that's not going to happen. Not, I wish you wouldn't, or I don't like it when, or I just can't stand it when you do this. That's not fierce. That's just bending back and forth and not providing any guidance, any leadership on any way, shape, or form. When we stand in that solid energy of fierce, and then we hold a boundary, which is no, that's not okay. Nope, you can't borrow my car tonight. Nope, I'm not willing to do that. Then it becomes really crystal clear. No one messes with our boundaries, or they don't mess as much. So like I used an example of standing up for ourselves. So something might be, you can never use my car when drugs and alcohol are involved. You know that, and I know that. And that means my kids are going to be like, ooh, that is mom's like hot spot. Don't go there. And I'm not mean about it. I'm just extremely firm. So there's clarity about what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. You can bring that into work, and you can say, I'd be more than willing to work on that project until 5 or until 5:30, and then I have plans, and I'd be willing to pick it up tomorrow morning. Is that okay with you? And then just keep holding. No, we'd like you to say, yeah, that's not going to be possible. Not tonight. And watch what happens every time, whether it's in work, whether it's in social engagements, whether it's in a dating scenario, whether it's with your partner. Find out how to hold yourself in this strength, right? And present with gentleness on the outside at the same time. So compassion, to me, is when we bring those two together and we have an insight, we have a wisdom that sometimes that person doesn't know what they don't know. So we don't take it personally when they push on the boundaries. We don't take it personally when they don't follow leadership. We just look at them and we go, oh, this isn't my trigger. They just don't know what they don't know. And when we're parenting and when we're leading others, we can come at it from that gentleness, which is, I wonder if they know that. And I wonder if they really understand what some of the long-term consequences are. My job is to lead them through that with compassion and gentleness, and with this fierce intensity of knowing that I trust myself in this situation. So I'm rock solid inner strength and alignment while I'm leading. This is leadership, harnessing all of my strength and passion and bringing it into form, and then presenting it with calm, kind, compassion, and wisdom. So try it this week. Try it with your kids. Try it with your partner. Try it at work. Try it anywhere. Anywhere that you can play with it. Harness that big, fierce part of you, and then hold your boundaries with kindness. This is the kind of stuff I do. If you're interested in learning more, by all means, give me a call. You can find me on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com, and have a fabulous week being fierce. Yeah, go for it. Bye-bye.